It is 8:30 on a very sunny Tuesday morning, and if all goes to plan, this is the week where I will finish my book. So hello and welcome to another weekly writing vlog. I said at the end of last week's vlog that I was getting really close to the end of my current draft. Yesterday I passed 75,000 words and my goal for this book was always about 80k, so I am really close to my target. I have a list of scenes and plot points to hit in the last few thousand words of the book. I haven't divided them into chapters, so I'm not quite sure how many there are going to be, but I am definitely close to the end, really close. And I actually only started this draft in the middle of February, so this whole process has taken a little over 2 months. Now I'm quite a fast writer, but that is quick going even for me, and it has really enhanced the process, I have to say. Sometimes writing fast gets a bit of flack in online writing communities, but honestly I have just enjoyed it so much. I have felt more connected to the story and the characters. I have enjoyed my daily writing sessions so much more, and I don't feel like I've ever got bogged down in this book the way I sometimes do when I'm drafting. It really has been a joy from start to finish. And of course the finish will be sometime this week, fingers crossed. So join me as I try to wrap up this draft and possibly celebrate by starting another book. Good morning, it's Wednesday. I hope you can hear me because there is a tractor running right outside the caravan. Yesterday was a really busy work day. We were working out on the barn, lots of wheelbarrowing again, lots of concrete. This is a recurring theme at the moment. But I did manage to write about 1,800 words. That brings the total in the Goldstone Tower up to 77,000, and I am so close to the end. Honestly, I'm not going to get to 80k, that's become pretty clear. I think I may only have about another 1,000 or 1,500 words to go to wrap up the draft. So that is an absolutely great feeling, and I'm pleased to find that I am really enjoying writing the end of the book. When a draft has gone well and I feel like I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve in it, I definitely feel a sense of jubilation as I get to the end. Now, the last book I wrote and published, which I only kept on sale for about a month, did not give me that feeling. I was satisfied when I reached the end, and I thought it was a decent story and I'd done everything I could with it, but it didn't fill me with joy the way this new book has done. And I think probably that should have been a warning sign much earlier on that it just wasn't the right book to continue the series. So with the Goldstone Tower, I know it needs work, that is absolutely fine. But I love the draft I have written. I love the way it's ending. I really like the character arcs that have developed here and the point that the characters are ending at as we get into the final scenes. And I'm just feeling a lot more confident about this book. At the end of the day, I can't predict what readers are going to think of it. I have to just write the books for myself. If I am really happy with them and I've achieved everything I set out to achieve, that's really all I can ask. Readers will either like them or not, that is not up to me. But I haven't doubted this book at every step of the process the way I did with the last one, and I feel like it's going to be really good when it's finished and when I've had time to apply all the many edits that are floating around in my head. So as I reach the last 1,000 or so words, that is a really good place to be. it is late on Wednesday afternoon. We have just finished work for the day. I have literally washed the concrete and cement off myself, and more importantly, the book is done. I was interrupted so many times while I was trying to write the last 1,000 words, but I did get it done at lunchtime, which means the Goldstone Tower is complete at just over 78,000 words, which is pretty much right on target for a first draft. It will invariably get longer when I edit it, so I'm very happy with that. I've been looking back at how the draft went, and the funny thing is, there's very little to say. The writing process for this book went so smoothly. The second half of 2022 was honestly a bit of a mess in my writing life. I was writing a book that I liked but didn't love. I then edited that book, and despite having certain doubts about it, I'd already started a pre-order, so I had no choice but to put it up on time. That is the same book that I then took down a couple of months later, and the Goldstone Tower that I've just finished is the book that's going to replace it. But the writing process for this book honestly could not have been more different. It has gone so smoothly, and it was a really good sign for me that once I got to the last couple of chapters and the last few scenes particularly, I did feel quite emotional. I'm not a writer who typically cries at their own work, but I could feel that I was hitting the right emotional beats for the end of the story, and that's always a good sign that readers are going to feel the same when they read those closing chapters. So I'm very happy with this first draft, but I find there's surprisingly little to say about it. I'm going to be taking a few weeks away from the book. I do already know quite a few things that I want to change or fix in edit, but I still want to read the book with fresh eyes in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. In the meantime, there are lots of other things I can be writing and getting on with. I haven't yet decided which one I'm going to pick. Ideally, I would write maybe the first 20,000 words of Rogue Soul, which is the book I'm going to release later this year. But there are a lot of projects that I have just got a few thousand words into, and some of them are calling me quite strongly at the moment. So we will see where inspiration takes me. Now, I know this is going to be quite a short vlog, but I've decided I'm actually going to wrap it up here. It feels like we have reached the end of a chapter, quite literally in the case of my story. I honestly can't believe that I actually vlogged starting this book just back in the middle of February. I very often write half of a first draft and then take a break and work on something else, but I didn't do that this time, and I think this is one of the fastest drafts I've ever written. That perhaps does say something about how much I've enjoyed it, because having that sort of momentum does honestly make the drafting process so much more enjoyable. So thank you for joining me on this entire process. If you have not seen the previous vlogs, you can look back over the last couple of months and see how this book has developed. I hope your own writing is going just as smoothly as mine has done this week. I will be back soon with another video. In the meantime, keep writing everyone, and I'll see you next time.